So the first board is board 5. I think we've talked before about the no trump ladder, and this is what we do, how we bid our balanced, limited range hands. The ladder being from weaker hands to stronger hands. You know that I'm in favor of upgrading into one no trump and upgrading into two no trump with strong hands. I don't mind messing around with these hands if they're worth it, which usually means some sort of 5-card suit that has some tricks in it. This hand that we have in South is an 18-point hand, but notice it's a 4-3-3-3 hand, so it's not very notable by shape. Its longest suit has only a queen in it, not very notable. The other 3 suits are not bad, but it's just an 18-point hand. No reason to downgrade it into a 17-point hand, into a one no trump opener, but it's an 18-point hand. So think of your no trump ladder, and by that I mean with a 12 to 14-point balanced hand, we'll open a suit and then rebid one no trump to show 12 to 14. We open one no trump when we have a 15 to 17-point hand. When we come to the 18-19 point range, right, that middle ground between opening one no trump or opening two no trump, when we get to this 18 to 19, we basically do it this way. We open a suit, and over partners bid, we bid two no trump. Okay, and that's how we're going to show 18 to 19 balanced, which is the perfect description of this hand. It's not a particularly great 18 to 19 point hand. It's a flat 18 point hand. So we'll start with the club, and our partner bids one no trump. And I think this gets confusing for some people as to where we go after one no trump. It's important to think about what this bid could be, especially over a club. Right, no 4-card majors, so it could be a balanced hand across from ours with some minor suit, minor cards, right? 3-3, 4-3, 3-3, 3-4. Could have a longer minor suit, right, but not able to bid it at this point. Probably doesn't have long clubs, right? It's a bid that is kind of a bailout bid, and you will see it used with 5, 6, 7-point hands. Right? So up to about a 9, 10-point hand. Now, people will make adjustments on this in more advanced partnerships and actually raise that level of one no trump, which would make it much more useful, actually. If we know always that this is going to be a good 8-point hand, for instance, or a good 7-point hand, we have no problems bidding 3 no trump here. But that's not what we have. Right, we have a hand that that could be as small as 6 points, and in reality, can often be less. Now, the question here is: should we be jumping to 3 no trump, which many of the tables did with this hand? South just jumped to 3 no trump and went down 1, and I don't think that makes sense, because do you really want to be in game with this rather pedestrian 18-point hand opposite any random 6 or 7-point hand? And I just don't think you do. I think that you need to leave it up to your partner. So the correct bid here, I think pretty much a standard book bid, is just to bid 2 no trump and no more. Right? And then you let your partner make a decision. And when it turns out he doesn't have a very good hand, he's got 6 points and it's 4-3-3-3, right? Then we find ourselves in the perfect position where he can bring 2 no trump home, whereas everybody was going down in 3 no trump. I appreciate and applaud the aggressiveness in the bidding, in trying to bid a game at Imps in the red, but you didn't really have the cards for it. I mean, this was a place just to make the book bid and let your partner make the decision. There's a lot of basic gadgets that we have to have in our repertoire as intermediate players, and one of them is Jacoby 2 no trump. Now, advancing players and expert players and world-class players will play a variety of Jacoby 2 no trumps, but many of them just play it the plain old-fashioned way that you can learn from the ACBL. And if you just Google ACBL Jacoby 2 no trump, you'll get to a single-page sheet called the Toolbox Jacoby 2 no trump. It will tell you all you really need to know. I'm going to outline it briefly here because we had a situation where I was very surprised that not everybody was in slam here. And when I went to look at the boards, the people who weren't in slam, with the exception of one, did not use Jacoby 2 no trump. Now, as we know, there's a couple things we like to do. We like to set game forces, and we like to set trump early. So a bid that allows you to do both of them is fabulous. Now, Jacoby 2 no trump is used only when you have 4 support for your partner and a game forcing hand. Okay? So you're going to have an opening hand, basically in yourself, and you're going to have 4 in the suit that your partner opens. And you immediately set the game force with this bid, and there is a set of not hard to learn continuations that opener will respond with after you use it. The bid is 2 no trump, okay, and it promises basically a 9-card trump suit, and I'm a great fan of any bid that shows 9 trump as opposed to 8 trump. And we've talked about a few of them before, and we'll talk about some others again. Jacoby 2 no trump is one of those bids that shows a 9-card trump suit. Right? Just one of the reasons we like to use it. Now, the responses by the opener to this are pretty simple. First of all, any bid on the 3 level is showing shortness, so it's showing either a stiff or it's showing a void. So here, our partner is showing a stiffer void in diamonds. This is very handy because if I had a great diamond suit, you know, I might not be really happy about the fact that that's where he's got his shortness. I want his shortness to be in a suit where I don't have any points. Fortunately, because of the shape of my hand, it doesn't really matter in this case. Because my weakest suit is the heart suit. Also, the double is interesting because it's almost certainly promises a lead directing double. Almost certainly promises the ace of diamonds, which means I have a diamond trick, and if my partner is void there, maybe I get to give him a pitch on my king of diamonds. They'll take their ace, right? I play the jack. Now the king of diamonds should be a place for declare, the heart opener, to deposit one of his losers, to pitch one of his losers. So I'm not feeling like this hurt me. Now, the other response that you could use with a shapely hand if you're an opener is to bid at the 4 level. Now when you bid at the 4 level over 2 no trump, what you're showing is a 5-card suit minimum that's really going to take some tricks, right? Think of it as you're going to take 3 or 4 tricks in this suit. And that's when you might want to show your 5-card suit, right? Because whenever you have a 5-card suit and we've opened another one, right, you're going to have a stiff someplace or a shortness in one of the other suits. When you're trying to decide whether to bid the 5-card suit or show the shortness, think of how many tricks am I going to take in that suit. If you've got queen 5th in a second suit, don't show it. It's not going to take any tricks, right? If you've got king, queen, jack, 10, 8, show it. It's going to take some tricks. All right, so you get the idea. Then the other 2 responses that are the basic package are balanced bid. If opener doesn't have any shortness, then he will just bid 3 hearts, or he'll bid 4 hearts. And you can think of it as in terms. People have lots of ways to think about it, but basically the 3 heart opening, the 3 heart is the stronger of those 2 bids. Use 4 hearts if you really don't have any extras. If you don't have aces and kings and side suits or something that maybe you could think of it as you would show your partner if he key carded, right? So don't think of it necessarily just in terms of high card points, but basically 12 to 14 is a reason. 12 to 13 is a reason to bid 4 hearts if your side suits are weak. And 3 hearts if you've got those extras. Then you want to just leave room for your partner to progress. Here, opener has 3 diamonds, showing me shortness in diamonds. Doesn't say anything about his points. Okay, if you're short, show it. Even if you've got a crappy hand, show the shortness. No jumping to 4 hearts just because you don't know what your partner has, right? So here, unfortunately, I'm kind of tied with robot bidder, but I am interested in slam. right? This is looking awfully good. What do I've got this king of diamonds. If he's got to have the hearts, which is the only scary part, and I have the spades controlled. So I basically have controls in all of the suits. And unfortunately, there's not much I can do with the robot that makes sense because of the way they bid slams. In fact, if I bid what they would require, which is a first round control, I would bid the clubs here, and they just jump to 6 hearts. It's going to be a good card for them. With another partnership, you might just bid 3 hearts. The game force is in place. If you bid 3 hearts, your partner might show you. See if it's force. I'm not sure what he'll do. Bid 3 hearts, he might show you a spade control. Yeah, there you go. Now, since they're showing aces, right? We know he has the ace of spades. So now we have ace, king, queen, ace, queen. We know we're getting a diamond trick, and now there's certainly no reason not to use 4 no trump. And you see how much easier this is with the Jacoby 2 no trump rather than the people who got 4 and 5 were just using a regular. They had to bid their spades, right? So they never got the game force in. Had to later on show the hearts. But when you got 9 trump, what are you looking for? I mean, you really want that bid that shows 9 cards. They played 0 or 3, and we'll assume that that's 3 and bid 6 hearts. Which has no problem making. So, Jacoby 2 no trump, I really urge you to learn it and use it. It's one of those basic gadgets that pays off over and over and over again. So we get to hand 8. West has this hand that you will see over and over again, and it's easy to deal with when you have a regular partner because you can just make some agreements on it. The problem is this: you are 5-4 in the minors, but they're the wrong way. Right? You don't have enough points to reverse. You only have 13 points, so you can't bid your long suit clubs and then bid your diamonds. Because for your partner to support you back right to take a preference to clubs, they have to go to the 3 level. But you only got 13 points. If they have 6 or 7 points, right, and when one club, one club, 1 spade, and you bid reversed into 2 diamonds, you force them to bid again. And if they bid 3 clubs to take or 3 diamonds, right? Because they're forced to bid and they take a preference to one of those 2 suits, you could be way over your head, right? So you cannot reverse, right? And the reason why I brought this hand up is funny because we had 6 tables yesterday and everybody played it differently. I mean, not everybody. There were basically 3 ways, and all 3 ways to bid this hand got used. So the one way I'm going to tell you not to do it, okay, is don't do it with clubs and then bid diamonds. You can say, well, we don't play that as a reverse, but you do. You do play it as a reverse. What you're making your partner do is bid at the higher level. Now, if you say, well, he can pass 2 diamonds, that's the way how he plays it, well, now you've just locked yourself out of potential games where you do have 17 plus points and you have clubs and diamonds. You don't want to eliminate the ability to make a reverse with clubs and diamonds, and there's no way to just leave it up in the air. So just forget that as an option, all right? The second way you can bid this, and we'll go like this, we'll see we're going to open the club, we're going to open the longer minor, and we'll get a spade bid. Now the second way that you can bid this, and I will admit that I will do this, this might be my favorite way to do it, it might not be the right way. But we often say that when we bid 1 no trump here, we're promising 2 of a partner suit. And if you're playing with me, that's true, like until I get this hand, and then sometimes I will just opt for 1 no trump, hoping my partner will pass it, right? And usually okay, right? You got 4-1 at worst in spades, and you've got some cards to work with, and so 1 no trump is an option. Okay, so we're going to be lying here at some point. We're going to be lying, right? Here I would be lying with 1 no trump saying that I got 2 of my partner suit. I don't. Now the other way to do it is and this is why I sometimes do 1 no trump, is because the third way to do it is to rebid the clubs with 5. That's the robot's choice here, by the way, and it was the choice at a couple of the tables. So it it's legitimate as well. It's showing a minimum hand with 5+ clubs. From time to time, your partner will think it's 6, but you're not burned too badly on it, because if he's weak, he's just passing, right? So you ended up in 2 clubs, sometimes wishing you were just in 1 club, right? But you end up in 2 clubs, and you're at least 5-2 if he takes a preference with 2, right? Or, in worst case scenario, he's just got one of them, nothing, and he passes you and leaves you at 5-1. Not a bad idea. So that has some value. It's just a bit 2 clubs here, right? So that's 3 ways. And I guess the 4th way to do it would be to, and I don't know about this one at all, it distorts shape. And you probably have listened to enough of my lessons to know I hate distorting shape. The other way to do this is simply bid 1 diamond first. Now when you rebid 2 clubs, you're not showing, I mean, you could have up to 17, 18 points, but at least when they take a preference, if they're weak, you'll be at the 2 level. Problem often is because it looks like you're showing 5-4, that you may be really unhappy when your partner lays down 2 diamonds, right? And then you're at 4-2. Here, of course, he's going to end up having 3, so you get in a 4-3 suit. Unfortunately, it looks like you probably will have to rough the spades if they need roughing. Maybe you can set them up. It turns out hearts was our nicest suit, but there was no way we're finding that because our partner barely had enough to bid. Right? He had 4, 5, 6. So, and this is why you don't want to reverse, because if you reverse on this hand, well, we can do that. And this will be fun because the robot, I believe, will read this as a reverse. And the auction will quickly get out of hand. If you start with 1 club, and there were 2 tables at least that did this, and then bid 2 diamonds, right? Notice I'm showing 18 to 22 points. Basically think of it as 17 points. Or think of it this way. If you had an extra club here, right? If you had 6 clubs and your choice would be 1 club to rebid 3 clubs, well, that's good enough to be thinking about a reverse if you're 5-4. Okay? A reverse starts with a long suit and bids a shorter suit. So if you reverse here, you're forcing your partner to bid. He goes up to 2 clubs, and we get into a little Leventhal action, actually, where he's showing a weak hand. And we probably end up in 3 clubs. So we bail out here, but we don't want to be at 3 clubs. And now he's bidding hearts. See, this is what I mean. And now we're just trying to get out of the auction. And we're in 3 hearts. We really don't want to be there. So you get my point. If you reverse and your partner is thinking it's a reverse, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. If you reverse and your partner wants to take a preference to your first suit, you end up at the 3 level, right? If you go clubs and then diamonds and you say, yeah, well, we don't play that as a reverse. Fine, but if your partner wants to take a preference to your first suit, he's going to have to go to the 3 level, right? And if he's only got 6 points, you're still at the 3 level with 6 points, and he may only have 2 support for your clubs. Right? So you are playing reverses. You're just trying to ignore the reality of them. So awkward hand, one to talk about your partner with. For instance, if I was playing with a regular partner and he knows that in these types of hands that I won't reverse, that will be of great value to him. If he knows that I will bid my clubs with 5, if I'm in that situation, that will be very helpful. If he knows that my 1 no trump is my way of best expressing what I believe to be a 12 to 14 point balanced or semi-balanced hand, that's fine too, but talk about it. There is no requirement there's nothing that says you can't bid 1 no trump with just a spade, right? That with just a stiff in your partner. That's not a requirement. Not breaking any rules to do that. You may confuse your partner from time to time if they know that you won't do that. If they think, oh, why would he do that? He's got to have 2. We're better off in my 4-2 suit. That's the best we got. So I don't know. Awkward minor bidding situation comes up often enough that you need to develop some sort of plan. If you got a regular partner, best to talk about what that plan can entail, how we're going to handle these hands. And I urge you, do not reverse.